whatever you want to call music nowadays is.
And we're live.
Well, good morning on a Sunday morning in now October, and I'm taking over Brad Critchfield's podcast, and I'm the Wiz, the esports instructor from Mayfair High School, and I'm with one of my good friends of the esports and education environment out here in SoCal, and that is...
I'm Ben Hopson. I'm a Esports Program Lead over at Norwalk High School, and I'm super stoked to be here. I'm stoked to be part of the takeover.
Man, this is going to be a mission and a half, but we're going to get it done. We're going to bring in all the exciting people that you, the listeners, and I guess if you want to view this is out there, need to know, man. And that's my job in all of this takeover is a lot of people don't know what's going on. So we definitely want to utilize all the platforms we're taking over with this esports education takeover. And we're going to bring in you, and you're at what site?
So I'm over at Norwalk High School in the Norwalk La Mirada district. So, not like barely 10 minutes up the road.
Yeah, and you've got esports going on. And well, let's esports is live entertainment and competitive gaming combined for a new platform of sports entertainment.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we can argue about what a sport means or whatever, but it is a competition that people are coming to watch. They are getting entertainment from it. There are storylines the same way there's a storyline all through the football season. There's a storyline all the way through, the fall season of Smash Brothers.
Yep. Yeah. And what other games? So we're going to talk about how it works at Norwalk. So we kind of touched on Mayfair when I was on here with Brad as the host, and now I'm the host. So I want to know what exactly you'd like to tell the listeners on what esports is at Norwalk.
Yeah, sure. So at Norwalk High School, esports is, I think, in the grand scheme of esports programs across the state and across the country, it's probably maybe older than most, but it is a place where ultimately my vision is that kids who normally wouldn't find a place have a place to be. I think esports is really uniquely positioned among most of the programs at a high school that a high school would offer. It can really cater to kids who might otherwise never find a place and might leave high school without an experience in a group, in a club, in a sport, in a organization, in a pathway, whatever. It engages them in a way that I think, frankly, a lot of kids don't expect to be engaged in. Like I'm sure you've had the same example where you're like, oh yeah, I teach this class and we play video games in this class, and kids are like, what?
Yep, exactly. They get super excited. They're like, what do you play? You play Call of Duty? Nah. No. Yeah, they get super excited. We get a lot of the introverted kids, especially at Mayfair. I had a lot, and one of my best players was super introverted in the beginning, and he became this big guy on campus, which was Mark Rodriguez. But yeah, so we had that in common, is finding these introverted kids that don't really know where there's something for them to be a part of, or they don't think there's something on campus, but once they hear oh, you guys play League, you guys play Valley, you guys play Rocket League. I'm a Smash player. They get super excited. They come, lunchtime and after school, and they're banging on your door, or they're messaging you email are you going to be open? And I think the hardest thing is telling them what
telling them hey guys, I gotta go home. You gotta go home too, frankly.
Yeah, we gotta. So, and then at Norwalk, you guys have a dedicated space that I infiltrated a couple weeks ago, because I'm not shy on walking on somebody else's campus. I think with the current life stage of esports, no one should really be looking in a negative for people that just want to be involved. I'm not going in there to steal your playbook. I'm going in there to show a face. The kids starting to know me, especially in the Southern California 562 area. They know the Wiz is out there, and I want them to know that I support guys like you, Ben Hopson, and then showing my face. And then let's talk about when I did show up at your facility, and I was shocked to see one of the Owl guys, and Dustin, no, what is his name? Russell? No. Oh, gosh, he's going to get mad at me. When I showed up, you had a Smash player there from the scene.
Oh, you're talking about Grant.
Grant
Johnson, yeah.
Grant, yeah. So Grant, is I guess helping out over there.
Yeah. So Grant, he's an IT guy in the district, and so he travels a lot setting up stuff, and his. And I don't know how much he wants me to say about like how he got into it, because when I brought it up, he was kind of cagey about it. But I'll just say he found out about the program, and like you said, he is a terrific Smash player, a cloud main. And so he came in and he emailed me first and was like, "Hey, you have this program, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Hey, well, I'd love to come in." And it started with, "Hey, I'd just like to play with the kids. Is that cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. You're a district employee. You seem like you want to play Smash." And so he started coming in. And let me tell you how I met him before that. So we haven't brought it up, and I'm sure we will because it was brought up on a previous episode. I ran a very big yet tragic Smash tournament many years ago.
Yeah. But this is great. This is great. Go ahead.
But so we tried again a few more times, and to the last one we did, he showed up with a bunch of IT guys. And I was kind of warned. I was like, "Hey, these IT guys are coming, and they like kind of want to play." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's all in good fun. Like they know this is for the kids, and they maybe want to play a little bit and just see how everything's going because it's a cool thing." And Grant shows up. He's got his own controller first off. So I'm like, okay, he's a little more serious.
Yeah.
And then he's in there like actually playing and like beating the kids.
Yeah.
And I expected IT guys to show up and just like play a little bit, maybe beat a few kids, but mostly just be like, okay, I had my fun. Yeah. No, he was in it, dude.
Yep. Grant's a offline local. He hits locals. He's a part of they're called the Owl crew. They haven't it's an older OG Smash crew. They're from all over, but like the main head, they call it the Owl Nest.
The Owl Nest
is where they all like did a backyard tournament, and these are the stories that I know with the scene is. So Grant comes from the Owl crew, and they were based out of like I think Pico Rivera or Santa Fe Springs somewhere or over there, but they have a lot of great players that claim this Owl. It's OWL, but the O has a slash through it. It's not like a zero.
Oh, like the not, yeah.
So they have this crew out there, and Grant plays against pro players. So yeah, it's good to hear that. I knew it if he showed up, and then when I saw him, I was like, dude, why is Grant here? Like, my wheels start turning. Like, what is he doing? But I really like the guy. He can't beat me, so I'm okay with that.
Challenge out there to Grant.
Hey,
if you're
man,
watching.
Bring your cloud. I don't care. Wendy all day, baby. So at Norwalk, you have the IT guys. Now, how and you had this tragic event that we talked about where you didn't realize what the magnitude of having 70 plus players show up at your event. And
in your head, like you're like, oh, I want to set up a tournament. Okay, I need TVs, switches, and players, and some controllers too. If the players are nice, they bring their own controllers. In your head, if you're watching out there and you're thinking about this, I just want you to come walk through my thought process with me. But that's in my mind. That's what I thought. TVs, switches, players, and we're set. And then we were using the website Challenge for our bracket. And people will come in, type down their names, they'll put in their controls, we'll play, and we'll have a great time, and we'll be out of here by 5:30, 6:30, 7:30. And there we were leaving the school at 10 p.m.
10, yep.
And that's a little spoiler for the end, but basically we opened it up to everybody. A lot of people came in. We were flooded because it was me, never done this before. My kids never done this before. And the thing that really kind of made things shoot downhill was people started coming in. They noticed rightfully that we were struggling, and they said, "Hey, like you should do this, do that. Oh, you should change this to be that." And I was trying to be receptive, and so in the moment I was like, "Yeah, thank you for helping, thank you." And then not realizing how much that eroded the structure of the whole thing, and suddenly what it was something completely different than what we started with. And thankfully we got through it all. At the end, like I said, there was a winner at the end. I can't remember the player's name, but he's a Palutena main.
No. Oh yeah, it was one copy, and we brought him to Shark the tournament. And I'm always gonna say that was the main objective. Was I was going in there with one of the best kids in SoCal in high school. One copy. He attended Gar High School, and he was a Game Crossing kid. I'm like, copy, let's go take this dude, and we did what we had to do. Anyways. But yeah, like you learned, and your experience is what I kind of explain out there when I talk to these people that are entering the space. It's like, it's not just setups, monitors, switches, and people. It's seating, it's structure, it's you holding your ground and understanding that you control the environment. And then whatever you had put into play at the beginning stays. And if they don't like it, they can kick rocks.
Yeah.
You can leave. I'm sorry, but this is the way I'm doing it. I'm not a pro at this. This is something that I'm working with, and you learn the hard way. But that is when we talked the other day. What did you say about learning the hard way?
Yeah, it's like you want to do these things, and I'm sure people have these big dreams. They want to see things like this. They want to do things like this, but like they're never going to happen if you don't try and you don't fail. Like you have to fall to fly. Every bird jumps out of the nest, can't fly at first.
Right.
You're going to learn the most when you jump out of the nest thinking you can fly and you really can't.
Right.
Because now I've got all this experience under my cap, and I know, first off, like I don't let people walk into my tournament and tell me what to do or even suggest what to do. I know what jobs need to be done. I know how many people I need helping me. And what's cool from here is that I can just take that knowledge and I can just try to fly in a new way. The next big goal when Norwalk does another tournament is I really like it to be streamed, like what you do over at Mayfair. I'd really like the event to be streamed. I'd like there to be casters, cameras on the players, and like an online bracket that people can follow. You know, if they can't show up, they can follow from home. Parents or friends or family or whoever.
Yep, it's that full entertainment environment that you're looking to push out. Now, with all this talk about tournament running and things, we do want to educate our listeners and our parents especially, and educators out there, admins that are still trying to figure out the space. Where is the educational connection that you see, that you're coming to understand that how we're to move forward in the educational space, so everyone that is involved is on the same page, and that we're functioning as a team for a better outcome for the students and the districts and schools?
So I think the really cool thing about maybe not even just esports, but like video games as an educational tool in general, is that you can take it in like a million different directions. For example, one of the things that Norwalk High School was exploring, and we're not anymore, truth be told, but a really cool avenue was doing a English class where the literature was based around RPGs and video games that are very story driven. So, maybe they are going to read like a classic novel or two, but they might also look at Red Dead Redemption, which is like a 60, 80, 100 plus hour game. I don't know. With an like crazy amount of script writing, crazy amount of, characters and all this development. And relating that back to classical things, talking about something like the hero's journey or, like a Shakespearean storytelling method, like that.
That's interesting. I like that.
It's super cool, right? And I think I'm excited to see where other educators take the space when it comes to video games in general, how they can take video games and plug it into the existing education world. And I'm very thankful that it seems like a lot of schools in California are more willing to play ball. And obviously there are some like rules and restrictions, rightfully so in some cases, but I'm excited to see where other educators take the space.
I'm excited on trying to help people add this to their platform. We have a lot of interested educators that want to open this up, and they're hitting brick wall after brick wall after brick wall. And all I can do is try to keep their heads up, and say, hey, if I can help you in any way, here, I'll shoot you whatever I got to shoot you. They say, Wiz, you're great. It's not. I don't clock in and clock out. That's a whole different thing with me. Is you hit me up at 11:30 at night and you've got issues. I'm probably going to answer you. So these guys are starting to understand. But there's a lot of educators that I talk to right now that are beating their head against the wall because they want to add this, and they're not being allowed to, or it's taking them 6 months to get Smash Bros. Approved. I'm like, come on, this is Nintendo Mario. There's no threat here. It's a family-friendly platform. Why are we having so much struggle? So, and then again, they also want to add in the educational piece. Like, what are you teaching them? Well, we're teaching them what? Hardware. You got to learn about the computer. When I talk to people, I say, I grew up in Lakewood. This was it's a blue-collar town. They don't teach their kids about computers. They teach their kids about mechanics, changing oil in a vehicle, changing a tire, working with your hands and labor work. When in this space, it's not. It's different, and educating them is the most important thing. So let's move on and talk about. Okay, so you're involved in CI. Oh no, so we'll just talk about CIF. We're involved in CIF, and if you don't know what CIF is, it's California Interscholastic Federation, which controls all the sports, all the high school sports, and we're currently in what's called an esports initiative.
Yeah.
It's an initiative. And then this initiative has been in play this is now the 5th season.
This is the 5th. Okay.
This is the 5th season for, we'll just quote unquote say initiative between two companies. Mm-hmm. So what has your experience been since CIF has made this new initiative moving forward with a different organization running the platform or helping them run the platform?
So I'll say my program, like I'm guessing quite a few other programs, yours included, existed before the CIF initiative. We were already competing, we were already doing stuff, and we'll get to that later too. But when CIF came around, I'll say the big thing was for people outside of the space was the name CIF just comes with legitimacy. I could go to ADs around the state and I could say esports, I could say Smash Brothers, I could say Valorant, I could say Overwatch, and they'd be like, what? Like different levels of, I've heard that word before, like, but when I say CIF, like eyes perk up. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, I get it now. Having esports associated with CIF gives it legitimacy in some people's eyes. And so it's definitely helped, from what I can see, it's helped some programs get off the ground. It's helped some programs smash through those brick walls that you were talking about.
Right.
And I think the exciting thing with CIF is that, like everybody's program, really, I think it has nowhere to go but up. I think that as time moves on, things will get better, things will improve, and that'll hopefully just help more programs get involved in the esports scene. Obviously, there are some like hopes and dreams, like everybody has. We have hopes and dreams for what CIF will become right now. Right. They got 3 titles, or 5 titles now, because they added Madden and 2K.
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, well, I have this kind of thing with the sports games. I'm very scared of sports games just because of the mass data that happens during the games and the glitches that are possible in the game, ghost catching, just weird stuff that happens in these mass data games. And and people don't think about this. 50,000. We'll just away from high school. Okay, mm-hmm. $50,000 tournament on the line for Madden 2K, and a ghost catch happens in the end zone for a touchdown to win the game. How do you determine if that is illegal? If that's legal, you can't go back and replay. There's no reset button there. It happens. Mm-hmm. It's over. And do you crown that winner, and then you create an entire controversial ending, which I don't want to be a part of? No, thank you. I know that it's that these are popular games that kids play, but we have to think about competitive being fair, and the sports games, because of the mass data, don't make them fair. That's my opinion. That's what I've experienced. And again, I don't want to be in part of something major with a sports game and have it go wrong. And you're like, what do we do from here? You've got 50,000 people watching your stream, and they're in the chat. What's going on? I don't want to deal with all that. I see all that stuff, and that can happen.
Right? Yeah. Suddenly they're booing the player. They're booing the tournament organizers. Exactly. They're booing the developer. Like you said, nobody wants to be involved with that.
Why? That's exactly why Smash has certain stages. Mm-hmm. Take Lila out, please. I'm going to put that out. Take Lila out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the CIF rule set right now has a stage that nobody wants to play on.
Yeah.
It has a rotating XY axis, or XY, or the axis. It rotate. The stage actually sways left and right, up and down. And you have the ability.
And does that even if you have hazards turned off?
If that's what they're doing, if they're keeping it flat, it should be moving. I think that's the way the rules set it. That's why nobody wants to play on it, because it moves. Mm-hmm. So it does put certain characters in a position or fighting characters in a position where they cannot recover to the stage, or it's more difficult to get trapped under the stage. Or it's not difficult. It's more likely you'll get trapped under the stage. So it's not a fair stage to me. I don't really care to play on it, but if I have to play on it, I'm a Smash 4 guy. So Lilat doesn't really scare Mayfair guys. I make them practice on it right now, anyways.
Yeah.
So with the growth of CIF, it allows more schools in California. I believe they should be over 300 schools now, I believe, that are involved in this, and there are more schools that are adding it and understanding. Like you said, CIF is now saying, "Hey, we're doing this." It's not on our official page yet, which please get it on that official page as soon as possible. So then more of these schools can just say, it's on the official page. But I really look to see the organization. I would like to see more organization. I would like to see more data, which it looks like they're gonna.
Yeah, that's one of the advantage of the new platform.
The new platform that they're being powered by. And I like to see that someone's assisting. I think after this year, after this season, it's gonna prove to a lot of different individuals that have been looking at the growth of these organizations working together and see if it's really gonna work.
Yeah, this is gonna be this season and next season are gonna be a big test. Or a big. I don't know who the test giver. I guess the test giver is all the people on the outside.
I think it's us. It's us. I mean, we're the ones that give feedback. Point. We're the ones that give feedback, and right now there's a lot of feedback being pushed out there.
Yeah.
And let's see if they listen and see how much they can organize it to make us happy, but then also make it fair across the board.
Because I think an interesting point about esports that the traditional sports don't have is that nobody owns baseball, nobody owns football, nobody owns basketball, but somebody owns Valorant, somebody owns Smash Bros. And I think there is a weird hurdle. I think some companies have sort of crossed it. I know Valorant, for example, has like a collegiate board where they have sponsored like colleges to play in this league, and they're very open about it. But other companies, Nintendo being a prime example, they're very litigious. They are more than happy to go after you, if you decide to we'll just say mod your Switch, they will shut your Switch down because you're not doing something that is approved by Nintendo. And I'm honestly I'm going to keep using Nintendo as the example. I am afraid that once things do get bigger, once things do get more seen, when this comes on Nintendo's radar, I'm afraid that they will try to bring down the hammer.
I disagree with you on this one, and I'm glad you brought this up because
give me your point. Yeah.
Well, HLC or Generation Esports. I'm gonna throw that name out there. Generation Esports has linked up with Nintendo, and I want to say that there is a mutual relationship.
Interesting.
For Splatoon 3, Mario Kart, and Smash at the middle school level. And this, a lot of people do not know, but I'm going to back it up just a bit. Nintendo is not hard to work with. They have strict standards. They're strict. Okay. They're very strict. I personally know individuals, the greats, 2GG Gaming from Lakewood High School. They're the Smash God, the goats of Smash. Again, I'm going to say 2GG is the goats of Smash. They worked with Nintendo, and they did Konga Saga. Which was a Donkey Kong theme, and they did it at Thunder Studios. I believe that was at Thunder Studios in Long Beach, and Nintendo was on board.
Wow!
But the stream itself was way basic. It was you can only use this and this, no ads, no this, no that. It only was what Nintendo approved, and that was it. No one else was. So when you're working with them, you have no call. If you have no call, you just kind of hey, we have Nintendo, that's awesome, and this is a relationship that normally doesn't happen to anybody, so we have to abide by every single one of their rules. And again, I should probably take note of that in regards to just understanding what the school districts want and the boards and the state people that are involved in growing this. So Nintendo, yes, and you're saying that these developers, they control the games.
Yeah, they so for example, CIF just had to switch up their schedule. They used to have Rocket League play on the same day that Rocket League updated. And nobody's out there updating lacrosse. It's not hey, everybody wait, the lacrosse rules got an update. We got to read this thing before we play,
Yeah.
But Rocket League was playing on Tuesdays, which was patch day when the game updated.
Yeah.
So a lot of games got disrupted because it was hey, I can't play right now, I'm updating. And nobody has control over that, especially with programs who aren't playing in school. If a
Right.
kid's got to go ride his bike home, he's got to
Right.
get on the PC, he's got to say hi to mom and dad, maybe eat some food, do whatever he's got to do, then hop on the PC or the Xbox or whatever and get the game updated. And
Yep. There's a lot more than what people know. Like and again, we want to reach out to the parents and tell them this platform is not just video gaming. It's not just competitive play. There's a lot of pathways here that your children can make money right now. It's not like, hey, we're going to push them through curriculums and they're going to go through all these courses and they're going to make money later. No, our kids are so technologically sound now, and they understand hardware, like the hardware that we're working with. And if they don't understand it, they're smart enough to look it up without even asking. And they're very smart, and they understand, hey, I can make an income. That's why so many of them are like, I want to be a social media influencer, or I want to be a streamer. But then again, like, parents don't know, like, a $400 camera to have this crisp of a visual, is something that they would be gunning for. That's a goal of theirs, for right off the bat. Here's a $25 720p webcam that you can work with, but they're down to work with it.
Yeah.
You work with what you have, but this industry itself, for parents to know, what's so great about it is esports, to me, it breaks down to 2 words, and 2 words only. And this is what I teach my kids. Esports equals content creation. There's nothing in esports that does not come from content creation. And when I'm talking about content creation, the games, we'll start with the games. Does Alucard's sword or Alucard's weapons, or his Alucard, who he's in League of Legends. Is it League of Legends? Yeah. Oh man, I should be right. Am I thinking of Mobile Legends Bang Bang? Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. Then I'll take a different character. We'll take Tristana. Tristana from League of Legends. They're gonna edit that out. Alucard's not. I can't remember. But I rarely play League anymore. But I play Tristana as a ADC support character, bottom lane. But someone made that character from nothing. Someone made her weapons. Someone made her outfits from nothing. From nothing, and then they content created it. The hardware that we use, the console games, the consoles itself, someone designed those consoles from nothing. It's content creation. The visual graphic art designers, the stream coordinators, they learn how to become who they are. Even the casters, like my son's a caster. Day one, when he was 8.5, trying to cast, he had no image. He was just this little kid, mighty man, running around with fake glasses and a Mario hat. And he created an image for himself, and content creation is the basis of the image. So when we're talking to parents, content creation goes to everything. You create your lesson plans, okay?
Yeah.
You create your lesson plans, and you can't recycle them. Not in this industry. You can't recycle your lesson plan. Yes, hardware can be kind of recycled, but your RX 580 graphics card is gonna evolve, and it's not going to be the same lesson plan for that RX 80 that you would do, like, I'm talking about graphics cards, guys. You would do with like a RTX 4090, some super powerful graphics card, and understanding what you can do with one and the other, they change. You can't, that RX 80 or whatever may be outdated the following year. And you're like, we can't talk about that anymore, because now we're on
It's obsolete. Yeah.
It's pretty much obsolete. And again, at Norwalk, are your kids are your students using Chromebooks for access to the internet versus what we should be giving these students is what? More powerful hardware. Yeah. Parents need to understand, you don't have to spend $2,000 to satisfy your child's needs in gaming. Yeah. What they say is, I want this, $2,500 3090, 4090 GPU.
Yeah, Ninja's got a 4090. I need a 4090,
no.
Mom. Like, nah.
So there's a little bit of conversation that has to happen on what will let your child do what their dreams are, which is streaming, content creation, et cetera, et cetera. And parents, you do not have to spend that much money. Right now, for gaming laptops, you can get away with a pretty decent gaming laptop for about $1,000.
I keep seeing every time I go to Costco, they have like $700 PCs there, and I look at the specs and I'm like, dude, for any of these kids, like even that is probably more pricey than they need.
Yep.
But that's still great value.
I think the one spec on there that is the spec that I need to teach parents to look at is the storage space. It's normally when they're selling them at Costco, it's 512 gigabytes.
Really?
512 gigabytes. 512 gigabytes. So
That's a shame.
You'll just have to understand that you have to buy an external hard drive so the kids can save all their data to something and not to the actual hardware, which is an additional $100, you know, to do that. So in gaming, that's something that we do need to, again, educate our parents about, is they don't have to spend all that crazy money. No. It's more of understanding on, it's like a vehicle. The kid wants a Mercedes, right? Their first car or whatever, right? High-end car. But then you're like, oh no, we're going to go down the street and get this Toyota Tercel and it's going to get you from A to B, but you're getting to A to B, you're going to work, you're still able to function doing that. It functions just as well as you need it. Same thing with the computer. So, I want to move into real quick. I want to talk about Valhalla.
Sure.
Valhalla is. Can you explain to the listeners what Valhalla is
the company
to you?
Valhalla?
Yeah, to you.
So I guess we'll go over the basics, the facts of what the company is. Valhalla is a company built around franchising land centers. So, for example, there is a facility opening up in Lake Forest in the next. You know, I actually don't know the timeline because I'm not involved on that kind of stuff.
Got you.
But their thing is that they franchise out land centers. So someone's like, hey, I want to open up a land center. And they're like, hey, we have this, you know, branding. We can hook you up with PCs. We can help you get a space. And, you know, from there, they're franchised. And I'm not great at explaining what franchising means. But, you know, it's like you own it.
You own it, but you have to follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
Your umbrella, basically. Yeah. You're under the umbrella of the main corporation, and you own your facility or your I guess
your space,
but it's like McDonald's. Like if Grimace milkshakes come out, then you got to put all the Grimace milkshake stuff up, and you got to buy by them. So what else does Valhalla do?
Yeah, within Valhalla, there's the VHEL, the Valhalla Esports League. Which is a league. We've brought up a few other organizations. They are another organization providing like an esports experience to high school and middle school age kids, particularly high school age kids. And they run a regular season, so like a few weeks of play.
Yep.
Teams are registering. They give, you know, here's my players, here's their ranks, here's the games we want to play. And it's like, cool, we're going to put you in a group. You're going to play a regular season against these teams. You'll maybe go to playoffs if you're good enough. We'll see who's on top. We'll see who wins the whole shindig.
Right.
The thing that VHEL really prides, that is the pride of VHEL. I was struggling with words there. We're talking a long time here. The thing that VHL prides themselves on is the divisional model. So traditional sports out there, to bring up CIF and stuff again, you know, the teams are in divisions. There's a Division 1 team, Division 2 team, Division 3, so on and so forth. In theory, teams are playing against other teams of a comparable skill level, so that they have good games, they have competitive games, and it's not like every game is, you know, a 0-48 stomp, you know?
Right.
As much as some kids like that, we would like them to have some competition. And that's VHEL's idea too.
That's great. I like that because it's creating a drama. I like it when I say the drama for this space is
rivalries, right?
You're creating that drama, and this is what sports entertainment is all about. Is creating the positive drama between two schools, whatnot. We'll just say like the modern day Bosco, you know, football rivalries, things of that nature, or the Bellflower Mayfair rivalries. You always want to have a really great outcome. You don't want to have a blowout. You want to make it fair and as most competitive as possible. So I like that model idea, and Valhalla gives an additional space for schools and kids that want to try other platforms.
Yeah. So we mentioned CIF only has 5 titles. Valhalla or VHL also has 5 titles, but we're offering certain ones are different, certain ones are the same.
Right.
Particularly the thing is with the FPS games, with the first person shooter games. CIF is still not even really dancing around it. They're not even really talking about it. Like
there's a whole can of ones I got to pick through before before we actually get that established.
So, we won't get into that here, I guess. But so I think there's a few advantages. Number one, and you know what? I guess I should say it up front before I go any further. Norwalk High School has been playing with VHEL. I'm not going to try to count the seasons, but since its inception.
Okay.
I've been around long enough that I sit on their teacher advisory board, which is just like, they're like, hey, we need to get in touch with the teachers and we need to run things by them. And I'm there. And I've been around long enough that I'm a staff member on their Discord server.
Okay.
So I help them a lot with like the day-to-day of like, hey, someone's got to answer a question. Like, hey, can you ping someone and make sure they're going to play their game today? Which, by the way, is just another thing that kids can learn how to do. Being a moderator, being an administrator in these servers is another thing that people make legit careers out of.
Yep.
So.
I mean, you get, if you apply or go apply for a position at any gaming company nowadays, Discord should be on your resume.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you should have had some type of credibility, responsibility that you took, or building your credibility based off your responsibility that you took and being involved in that Discord server. Mm-hmm. So parents and school boards and things of that nature like don't know what it is. It's a necessity, industry standard platform. Again, it's a necessity and industry standard platform that your students should be involved with. Don't be afraid of it. Engage it. Learn how it is, because you can actually regulate it, and you can make sure that things don't happen that people are fearful of, like, oh, the kid's going to curse. Well, you can actually put a bot in there, and the bot eliminates the ability to
curse. It'll censor them.
Yep.
It'll time them out, so they have 600 seconds to think about their language choices.
Exactly. So there's a lot of positive things. So I'm glad you brought up. We brought up what Valhalla is. It is a different platform. It's more opportunity. It's another one of these.
Another one of these high school leagues.
Yeah, an organization, a company that is looking to grow and fill the space. And again, esports has a lot of real estate for people to be involved in, without wanting to overpopulate real estate when they don't really have to. I think the focus is, if you're going to inhabit some real estate in esports, that you should look at a long-term versus a short-term. Yes, we all look at the dollar and we want to put some money in our pocket. Mm-hmm. I get that. But you can't build a strong building or a strong structure without having support, and you can actually mold that support yourself. We had this conversation the other day, Ben and I, about both the long term of molding the future of your platform versus like putting out a random LinkedIn, hey, there's this job available for you to be a data input person, but versus you molding one of your students to be the top elite data input or data retention specialist, versus you getting some random person off the street or off online that may not have the same vision as you, and they're just kind of needing that $15-17 an hour job just to get by. You're not going to have the same result, and that could ultimately really slow your progress down. But if you're molding it from the kids that we engage with every day, and they're the ones that are advancing onto your platform, then you have someone for life. Mm-hmm. Unless there's a huge opportunity to say, like, hey, Mr. Hopson, Valhalla's been great to me, but Nintendo came to me with an opportunity. Like, what do you think? Dude, it's Nintendo, bro. Go do it.
Yeah,
go do
dude.
it.
Yeah.
That's so those are the things. But I hate to do this, but we're running out of time, and I say I'm taking over, and I could probably do a whole freaking 7-hour podcast because I talk forever and I have so many stories. But man, taking over the podcast, community podcast, brick by brick. Now Brad lays out the bricks, and I like to say that I'm trying to fill in all the any type of concrete that needs to be put into between those bricks to hold this wall and make it stronger. And Ben, you are a part of this brick by brick community building into esports space in the local area of the 562. And man, from the bottom of my heart, brother, like, you are one of the guys that I really respect and look forward to creating and to blowing people away in the SoCal area and just the rest of the world. To show that, hey, man, those guys in SoCal, they're the business. Like, we need to see what they're. I mean, to be honest with you, I take this to my heart. Is we're from the West Coast, and the West Coast has an image of entertainment industry. We're the entertainment capital, of the world.
Yeah.
Why aren't we bringing these things out? But I'm gonna throw it out there. Mayfair is way ahead of the curve. We're gonna be launching some stuff, especially with this postponement of Eye of the Storm. We've got stuff that people are gonna show up and like, whoa, how do we even catch up to this right now? And that's where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways,
the cutting edge.
But right there, Ben Hopson from Norwalk High School putting together esports. Last question before we go. If you had one game in the entire world that you had to play with that would make you happy until you passed away, what game would you choose to be able to have to play? And that was the only game you played for the rest of the time you were alive.
Rest of the time that I was alive. That's tricky.
It's a tough question, but
it's a tough question. I'm trying not to give two answers. I'm gonna give one. Okay, I got one answer.
All right.
My game is XCOM 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's
Love that game.
Explain the game real quick.
So XCOM 2 for and I'll try to break this down for like the completely game unaware, I guess. Imagine you have a little platoon of soldiers and they have a little mission. And so XCOM focuses around like an alien invasion. Aliens have invaded the Earth and you're trying to, fight back against the aliens. It's very like, you're very much like a rebel organization kind of on the run. And so you've got this little squad of soldiers and they've got to go do something. They've got to rescue civilians or they've got to steal data from a computer or whatever. And so you go turn by turn and you can imagine it like a checkerboard.
Right.
And you pick your guys and you're like, okay, you're going to move over here and you're going to move over there. And then, there's an alien and it's like, oh, are you going to ambush them? Are you going to take them head on? Did you research some special gear?
It's very strategic. And platform, PS2?
PC.
Okay, PC.
Yeah. Came out in like 2016 or 15.
All right. So XCOM on the PC, check it out.
Yeah.
It's Ben Hopson's go-to game for the rest of his life. And you know what? As of that, man, I really appreciate you taking your time out on a Sunday, man, to come and just hang out and do this takeover of the Brick by Brick community made by Brad the Brick Critchfield. But I appreciate his trust in the Wiz to be able to take the seat and bring content. And I'm going to also take his glasses home with me. So, yeah, he's losing glasses. So, this is the Wiz from Game Crossing and Esports, Mayfair High School. Mayfair High School's esports program. I have Ben Hopson. The last thing you would have to do is you're going to sign Mr. Brad Critchfield, the Bricks area here, where I have my signature. You have Amy Stewart's got a couple other in here. I think Dratty's on here, and some of the Bellflower and Mayfair coaches.
Let's do it.
So he's going to go ahead and sign the paperwork and make it official that he's been on the takeover of Brick by Brick, building the community one brick at a time. I'm the Wiz from Game Crossing and Mayfair Esports.
I'm Ben Hopson esports over at Norwalk High School.
And we're the future of esports. And we're going to bring it to you with no filters, all truth, no sugarcoating, but in benefit for you, the parents, the administration, education, and the kids. Deuces.